I remember giving birth to my son the first time and I was terrified. We have all seen how dramatic they make childbirth in movies. But I have also rotated in the labor ward during my training in medical school, and I was personally a witness to the oohs and ahs, the tight hand grasps that almost threatened to fracture my metacarpals, by the way, the swears and promises like, "I'm not having another baby." Did you know that the labor pain scales at 9 or 10 on the pain rating scale? It is one of the most severe and worst pains that one can go through. So it is but natural for any first time mom or any mom who's had a traumatic experience before to be scared of going through the process again. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Aging with Doctor show. I'm Dr. Sanoba Pesa Doctor, your host, and you don't have to worry at all because today on our show we have Kerry Tuschhoff, a doula, childbirth educator, and a hypnotherapist for over 30 years. She's the founder and director of Hypnobabies Hypnobirthing Childbirth Education, and together she has helped thousands and so many families navigate and heal using the life-altering benefits of therapeutic hypnosis. I am super excited to know, what does hypnosis actually mean? Is it some sort of voodoo science? Will I be in an altered state? Will I lose my consciousness? Kerry helps us understand what is therapeutic hypnosis and how can hypno-anesthesia be safely created.
Well, the first thing is that most people think that hypnosis is what they see in stage shows or entertainment shows. You know, if they go to a conference or something and a hypnotist gets up there and the hypnotist picks somebody out of the audience and makes them supposedly quack like a duck or sing like Elvis.
You were always on my mind.
Or anything like that, and they have supposedly no control over themselves, but all that is just a lot of fun. Those people wanted to be part of the entertainment, and that's not real hypnosis. Therapeutic hypnosis is very, very different. So first I will say that hypnosis is just a state of focused concentration, and depending on how focused you are and what you do in that state depends on what can be accomplished with the hypnosis. For instance, we are all of us, all in states of hypnosis many times a day.
Seriously?
Just automatically. So when we're reading anything, whether it's a book, a magazine, an online article, the newspaper, anything that we're reading, we enter a state of light hypnosis. Our eyes are going back and forth and we are going into an alpha state. Anytime that we're looking at a screen of any kind, and that could be a phone screen, a tablet, a laptop, a television, or a movie screen, we are in a state of hypnosis within a very short period of time. And whenever we are waking up and going to sleep, those states of falling asleep and waking up are a light state of hypnosis. And of course, we all know that when we're driving, and we've been driving for a while and thinking of something else, maybe what we're going to do when we get to our destination, we get to a point where we're all of a sudden aware that we can't remember the last 5 minutes. Maybe we're sitting at a traffic light, or all of a sudden we realize we're at our destination and we can't remember the last 5 minutes. We were in a state of hypnosis. And that's why they call it highway hypnosis, when you're driving for a long period of time and you just start drifting over to the side because your mind goes into a state of hypnosis. And all this is a very focused state of concentration. Now, what we do in therapeutic hypnosis is we just deepen that so that we can access the subconscious mind more directly. So if you think about your conscious mind as being at the top of this and your subconscious mind at the bottom, we need to get from the top to the bottom in order to access the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is where everything that we have ever done or seen or heard or experienced or thought or believed lives. It's a vault. So we're not going to take anything out, but we are going to give it new software. So we need to get from here to here. And in between is something called the critical faculty. And we need the critical faculty to go take a nap. So what we do is we use hypnosis. We relax the body first, because that's important, because you can't be tense or have any parts of your body working when you're trying to relax your mind. And to relax your mind, that's the next thing. So after we relax the body, we count backwards from, say, 100 or 50 or something, to just get that focus and that concentration deeper and deeper. It could be imagining going downstairs. There are different ways of doing a hypnotic induction. That's what it's called, when you're relaxing the mind. And then once we get the mind relaxed, we can take it even deeper. And now we're down in the subconscious. And all we want to do is update the subconscious's software. And it could be for anything: eliminating a phobia, a fear of flying, or spiders, or stopping smoking, or weight release, or stress and anxiety. In Hypnobabies' case, we are updating the software on a daily basis by listening to hypnosis tracks for childbirth and giving it a new belief system that the sensations that we're going to be feeling do not have anywhere near as much discomfort as what would normally be there if we were not giving it this new software, updating it every day. And the reason that we listen every day is because the subconscious is a little lazy, and it's had a belief system about childbirth in there for quite a long time. For many of us, a long, long time. And that belief system usually is, this is going to hurt, I just have to get through it, all kinds of things, whatever people have told you, whatever you've read, whatever you've seen in a video, things like that. That becomes part of your belief system. So we're just updating that on a daily basis. And there's a lot of written information in Hypnobabies because we are a complete childbirth education course. So we are teaching you everything about nutrition, about staying healthy, about things to avoid, postpartum care, including all the positions to use for comfort during your birthing time, which is what we call labor. Anyone, no matter what they say, can be hypnotized because they are hypnotized every single day. Reading, watching a screen. Has anybody ever tried to stop a gamer from playing a video game? They are so focused they don't even hear you. The driving thing, daydreaming. Whenever we're daydreaming, we're in a state of hypnosis, just thinking about Hawaii. It's not that they really can't be hypnotized. They can be. Usually there's a little bit of fear left over from somewhere that they will lose control. But the truth is, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. No one can ever make you go into hypnosis or do anything to you that you don't want when you're in hypnosis. You 100% are in charge of entering hypnosis, staying in hypnosis, accepting the suggestions you're hearing or not, and even emerging from hypnosis whenever you want to. You can't be made to do anything that is against your morals or your beliefs or anything like that. It's not religious. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It is something we all experience every single day. So anyone over the age of 2, because you have to be able to sit still and concentrate, and who is maybe, who is not on drugs or alcohol or has specific mental illnesses where, it precludes sitting still and focusing, can be hypnotized. The question is, will they be? Will they allow it? So it's just a matter of becoming relaxed, letting yourself become relaxed, letting yourself listen to suggestions about going deeper into hypnosis, and then just listening.
This definitely sounds like my husband when he's thinking, reading, or doing anything related to pediatric cardiology. I'm not joking, but he's so passionate about it that when he's thinking about his babies, we all cease to exist. Maybe he goes into a state of hypnosis. Sorry, buddy. You're my punching bag. But jokes aside, I'm sure you're equally interested in knowing how did Kerry decide to embark on this fascinating journey of hypnobirthing. Did she use hypnosis herself when she delivered her little munchkins? Let's find out.
It all started a long time ago when I was first married, and I had a friend who was going to have a baby, and she was telling me all about this natural childbirth thing, and I had no idea about it. And she had her baby without medication. Now, when I say natural childbirth, that's the way she described it. To me, I believe that all births are natural because they come out of your body and the baby comes out, and it's all a natural process no matter how the baby gets out. But it used to be that everybody would say that a natural childbirth was an unmedicated one. And that's what she had. And she said it hurt really badly, But she was able to do it without interventions, without drugs, without her water being broken. And I became completely fascinated because I thought that people just went into the hospital and had an epidural. I just thought that was the thing. And she explained all about this. She was using an American childbirth education method. And so I became really fascinated, and I convinced the powers that be at the Bradley method that I wanted to become an instructor. And they actually let me, even though I'd never had a baby. And I started teaching classes to couples, and I started becoming a doula, which is a labor assistant. So I would go to my students' births and be with them. And it was the most beautiful thing. I really loved it. And about maybe 50% of my students had unmedicated births, and they seemed to be in a decent amount of pain, but they were getting through it. And I thought, this is doable. So I got pregnant, and then I had thought that I knew everything about having a baby. And I was wrong because I went into labor, and it was the most painful thing that I had ever experienced in my life. My baby's head was turned around so that it's called posterior position. So the back of the baby's head was scraping the nerves in my spine with every contraction and all the way down and out. And oh my goodness, I did that for a day and a half, having these horrible contractions. I'd had about 12 hours worth of it. And then I went to this freestanding birth center where I was going to give birth, and nothing I did helped. There was no breathing. There was no relaxation that was going to help any of this. 26 hours into being there, I was wheelchaired across the street, screaming my head off to the hospital. And at that time, I met my new best friend, the anesthesiologist, coming at me with a great big long epidural needle. And I was never so happy to see anyone in my life as I was that man. And I didn't even care. My unmedicated birth was out the window. At that moment, I was going to sit still for 10 minutes while he put this thing in my back in the right place. And then it started working. And then for the next 6 hours, while I could feel absolutely nothing, I just cried and slept. I cried because I was actually traumatized by the amount of pain that I had endured, that I did not know this was what people were feeling, and it broke my heart. But I was literally traumatized from the whole thing, from the loss of my natural birth, from the intensity of the pain, from realizing this is what people were actually going through. And I relived my daughter's birth basically with PTSD for over 4 months. Just relived it and relived it and relived it. And after that, I started trying to heal. And it took me a long, long time to realize that I had postpartum depression and PTSD. And I ended up getting some hypnotherapy, and it worked wonders. And then I got pregnant, and almost 4 years to the day of giving birth to my first child, I gave birth to my second one, a son, in a freestanding birth center, a different one, with just the midwife there and my husband and my sister. Again, his head was turned around, scraping my back, so I had what's called back labor. And I was just screaming my head off with each contraction. And there was one particularly awful contraction. My husband was pushing on my back with his fists, trying to help the pain. My sister was in front of me, and I was holding her hands so tightly, and I was screaming and screaming. And at the end of it, I was just exhausted. And I looked up into my sister's face, and she was sobbing. And she said, "It should never have to be this hard." And it was like a light bulb went on over my head. I just said, that is correct. And no matter, even if I never have another child, and I didn't, I'm going to find a way that other people don't have to go through this if they want an unmedicated birth. Then I just started looking for solutions. I saw a TV show about hypnosis for childbirth. And so I looked that up on the internet, and I found this one program, and I got trained in that to teach it. And it was not what I was looking for. After teaching it for about a year and going to my students' births, they weren't looking any different than my other students had been with the Bradley method, and I was just looking for a little bit more. Started studying hypnotherapy and became a hypnotherapist, and then I started taking specialty courses for pain management with hypnosis. And one of them was 𝐒𝐄𝐿 painless childbirth program, and this was a master hypnotist from Hypnosis in Florida, and he had this wonderful program that he had sat down down with women and asked them if they could have a hypno type of program for their births, what would they want in it? And they said they wanted to be able to move around and still maintain the hypnosis and the comfort with the hypnosis and the relaxation with the hypnosis, and other things like get their birth partner involved and them have cues to deepen their hypnosis and things like that. So he created this program. And once I got trained in that, I asked him if I could put those techniques into a childbirth education program, because it was supposed to be for hypnotherapists to use one-on-one with their patients in their offices. And he said, absolutely, I can't wait to see what you create. And that was a long time ago, over 20 years ago. And I created Hypnobabies, and I put evidence-based childbirth education in it because it's super important for people to have their childbirth education at the same place that they get their birth hypnosis. And that's how Hypnobabies started.
Breathe. Breathe. Stay strong. It's all in the mind. You got this. This does seem as good advice, but trust me when I say it all goes out of the window when you're live in action. It's tough to stay calm when you're going through pain and you're going through those contractions. I'm going to admit, honestly, during my time, I could tear down literally anyone who could try to say something nice to me. I am mean, I know, but luckily everyone got spared because I was the lonely soul left in the room with my baby and the pain, of course, with my husband laying down on the couch because we were both COVID positive and were really ill, and he just didn't have the strength to comfort me. He got spared. But jokes aside, I know it is tough to stay calm during those times, but it is not impossible. Kerry shares some wonderful insights for expectant mothers and the birthing community about the power of the mind.
If people knew how powerful their inner minds were to eliminate fears, to eliminate stress, to be more self-confident, we have one that's called Super Confident Me, and it makes a huge, huge difference to people to be able to listen to that every single day and then have that cue that when they're in a situation where they don't feel so confident, they use the cue, it activates, and they feel really confident about themselves. And that's how powerful our minds are. We just don't use it until we know to use it and how to use it. And the mind's language is imagery. So it's important that with the words that we use, that we imagine certain things. So saying, I am going to give birth at such and such of a place or anything like that empowers the person to understand that they indeed will be giving birth and no one's going to do anything to them or take anything from them.
Alright, so now we have understood that hypnosis is the real deal. But do you think that being in a hypnotic state can eliminate the fear associated with pregnancy and especially the pain during childbirth? And then postpartum?
Hypnosis isn't something that is done to you. We even have a track called Relax Me, or it used to be called Relax Me. It's called Instantly Calm now. And it's free on our Hypnobabies website so that people can just try it out, try hypnosis out. It is done with the same background music that we use in Hypnobabies, which is important because it has binaural beats, and I'll explain that in a minute. And it has the same recording voice and the same cadence as our Hypnobabies tracks. So when people listen to it and they're able to relax their body and then relax their minds and then see how good it feels to be in hypnosis and learn a technique that will help them be instantly calm anytime, then they are assured that this is going to be fine. Also, with the binaural beats music that we have in the background of all the tracks in our Hypnobabies program and quite a few other tracks that we have in our store, what it is it's music that has different wavelengths or different ways to listen to the beats of the music. So there's one wavelength that goes into the right and one into the left, and it creates a different one in the middle that actually causes hemispheric synchronization. And so your brain works better, easier going into hypnosis, easier relaxation, more acceptance of the suggestions. That's why we chose binaural beats music with the different frequencies that come together in the middle and create a different frequency.
So are these tracks available on your website and they're free for someone to try?
Yes, if you go to our website and you go down, I believe it's the last link under self-study. If you go down, I think it says free MP3s. You can listen to it right there, or you can download it and keep it forever. It's called Instantly Calm. And it's just a gift that we give everybody to be able to try out hypnosis.
That's wonderful. And I will make sure to add a link below as well so that people can explore it. And thank you for clarifying this, because the most important part to understand is it is self hypnosis. So, as you rightly said, you have complete control over it. It's not that somebody makes you do something. What are the common misconceptions, or what is the weirdest thing someone comes to you when they are not introduced to Hypnobabies or hypnosis? But yeah, then you have to sit around explaining everything. What is the weirdest thing you've heard?
I think the weirdest thing is that they think that you have no control over yourself, and that being under hypnosis is going to give them some sort of a disadvantage to, their own morals or spirits or things like that. It has nothing to do with any of that. So I take the time to explain to people how they're already in hypnosis all the time. They're in it right now when they're listening to me. They're in it right now watching this show that we're recording together. People are in hypnosis right now. I think that's probably the most common misconception. Also, there's another one, and that is that people think that they're going to sleep through their birthing. Well, there's no sleeping through your birthing. You're going to feel common sensation like pushing and pulling, tightening sensations, baby movements, things like that, without all the pain or discomfort associated with it that normally would happen if you were not using these hypnosis techniques. Now, not everybody's going to have a pain-free birth, and that isn't even the goal of Hypnobabies. The goal of Hypnobabies is to have the easiest and most comfortable birth that you can have. And that's why we teach you things like full childbirth education. And part of that is understanding that you are 100% in charge of all decisions made in your pregnancy, your birthing, your baby's care, and your postpartum care, so that you can create a birth plan that works for you. And that is super important, has made all the difference in the world for thousands and thousands of people. Just having that knowledge and being able to know this is my choice.
There is some good news. If you want to try any of the hypnobirthing or the hypnotic tracks that are available on Kerry's website, I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. Kerry and her team have graciously offered a 20% off for all our listeners today. Use the code DOCTOR, DRDOCTOR, to get 20% off the course that you wish to learn more from. And if you're a childbirth educator, a doula, or simply someone who wants to learn more about hypnosis and help other mamas navigate through the most important phase of their lives, then listen up.
Well, we have a hypnodoula training program, and it is for traditionally trained doulas and midwives who have clients that come in and they're doing a hypno program. And so they need to learn all about hypnosis, what it is and what it is not, and how the mind works. The subconscious, the conscious, the critical faculty, all of those things, so that they can understand what it is that their hypno clients are learning. And then we teach them all about that. What techniques, what cues, how to support them, how to deepen the hypnosis, what to do if the person needs to use a different cue or technique, how to get them up right after a birthing wave ends to go to the bathroom or change positions, so that they don't wait and get caught off guard halfway to the bathroom or halfway to a chair or a birth ball with another birthing wave coming on. We also have a Hypnobabies instructor training for birth professionals who would like to teach live in-person Hypnobabies classes in their community, because while we do have our most popular program is our Hypnobabies Hypnobirthing Home Study course, where people are using it all over the world, either in a hard copy form that is shipped to them or our online course. We also have group Hypnobabies live classes that people can come to in their community if there is a Hypnobabies instructor in their community teaching that. You can find those things and other things like our Hypnodoula course, our fertility course, because we love getting people pregnant. And all of our other individual tracks and sets, like our VBAC success set and our twins success set and things like that, hypnobabies-store.com.
Is hypnosis not meant for someone?
People who have seizure disorders and people who have certain mental illnesses probably shouldn't do hypnosis at all. But that said, If anyone has those, all they need to do is go to their healthcare practitioner, their doctor, their mental health care practitioner, whoever it is, and tell them, I'm thinking about doing hypnosis. Do you think that this would be safe for me? And get that feedback before they start hypnosis of any kind, even if it's just one hypnotic track to help with stress and anxiety. They need to check with a healthcare practitioner.
One last question, which I always ask my experts. What message will you give your younger self and everyone listening to you today?
Oh my gosh. My younger self would have been so happy to know how smart I am and should have thought that I was at the time. And I believe that to be an issue with a majority of women, that they have been maybe brought up in a way that they doubt themselves all the time. And so they don't think they're smart and they don't think they're capable. They don't think that they can maybe branch out, get a new job, or be a great mother, or whatever it is they think they can't do. If you're young, tell yourself you can and that you are smart and you are capable. If you are older now, tell yourself those same things, because it's important that we all understand we have the power to grow. So if you want to know something, just like I do, go out there and find it out. You have everything at your fingertips, something that could change your life, something that could blossom into something else. Just really let yourself be confident.
Alrighty, so now this brings us to the last, and the most exciting segment of our show, Rapid Fire with Dr. Doctor.
Oh,
Are you ready?
I think so.
Alrighty. If you were a vegetable, which one would you be?
A beet.
Okay. Who has it easier, men or women?
That depends in what way, but I would say men.
What's the fastest speed you've ever driven in a car?
Probably 80, you know.
What sound does a seal make? Who inspires you?
My children inspire me.
What's something you could eat for a week straight?
Any kind of Mexican food, because it is just so yummy to me. Cheese and rice and beans. I don't eat the meat parts, but there's so many things. Oh my gosh.
What was your last search on Google?
I don't know. Wait, it was for, I know what it was. It was for my friend. Her dog is hurting right now, so I looked for doggy aspirin.
How long will you live up to?
90.
And the next section is called This or That. You need to pick one. Okay?
Okay.
The vagina or the clitoris?
Clitoris.
False love or hate?
Oh, you can't choose either of those.
Climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Climb a mountain.
5 boys or 5 girls?
5 girls.
Okay, there's a spider in your house. Will you kill it or set it free?
Set it free, baby.
And what if the spider comes back and bites you?
They're
Especially the
not
big
living in my
Texas
house.
ones.
They can't live in my house. They need to go outside and live.
Alrighty.
Based on our conversation today, I know Hypnobabies is specifically designed to help mamas navigate and go through the childbirth process in the manner that they wish. But I think once you learn the art of hypnosis, you can apply it to navigate through any state or any crisis that you might be going through. I know it requires practice, but think about it. We go into a state of hypnosis every single day. It's just a matter of tuning in and being able to do when you want to. You have complete control of yourself. And I think given being in this crazy world that we are in today, learning the art to calm yourself down, along with other techniques like I had taught you all once, the 478 breathing technique, vagal massages and such other things can actually help one relax. Like and share this video with a friend who you think might benefit from so that we can help spread the word and grow a community together. Also, make sure you have subscribed to the channel because that is the only way you and I can stay connected always. And you can get notified every time a new video gets released. Continue to glow, thrive and shine. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Things I love, Sunday morning breakfast with Dr. Doulas.